This is Open Clutch, and we're here at the 2010 SEMA convention, and we're here with Jason from Factor 5 Racing, and he's going to tell us about Factor 5 and about the gorgeous Factor 5 GTM we have here. So,
thanks. Yeah, Factory 5 Racing, we manufacture chassis, component chassis kits to build these cars. It's a tube steel chassis, uses aluminum shear panels that rivet to it. We give the body to it. It's a hand-laid fiberglass body. This is the GTM. We also do a couple other models. We've got the Mark IV Roadster over there. We also do the 33 Hot Rod here. And there's a different chassis for each car, all tube steel chassis, and everything is all fully welded. You don't have to do any fabrication at home. The idea is that you either get all the parts from Factory 5, or you can supply parts from a donor vehicle, either a Ford Mustang or a Corvette in this case. So you can borrow the parts from that car, and all of the assembly you do at home, you can do in your garage with fairly limited tools. You don't have to have those welding and fabrication skills, and you build a car that really are very unique. The GTM here, we've done about, since 2006, we've done about probably 330 of those. We've done really the bread and butter of the Mark IV here, and the Hot Rod Mark IV we've done about 7,300 of, and Hot Rod's about close to 300 at this point. So they're great cars. It's a fun project, a great community that's the result of it. Just tons of customers that have had all the build experience and have really networked with other people in the area and customers that have built their own cars. Lots of stories to tell, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay. What about the performance? How does the change in chassis affect the performance compared to the original car?
Particularly with the Mark IV, we went with the original ladder frame based 4-inch round tube rails on the chassis. They're a little bit larger wall thickness, but what we did was built up from there really a space frame, and I think that's where you see the differentiation between a Factory 5 and another traditional kit car. And that's what yields the performance, because you have a chassis that's really rigid and it allows the suspension to do what it needs to do. You have a great suspension geometry that makes the car drive like a modern car. It's a vintage exterior, but you have a modern components and technology underneath for the drivetrain and the chassis technology. So that's why, whether it's the GTM or whether it's even the Hot Rod, the Hot Rod's not really a car that for handling really well, but it'll keep up every bit as well as our Mark IV, and that's better than really most every car on the road. So yeah, it's certainly not uncommon acceleration times in the 3s to 60, and cornering the GTM as tested by Car and Driver. I think it was 1.05 Gs on the skid pad with a street tire, and I mean that's sustained on the skid pad. It's phenomenal, and that's what you can do with lightweight, a reasonable amount of power, and just all the focus on the chassis tuning and suspension and making sure that all that geometry is correct and doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay, and so what would the GTM run?
Well, it depends how you go about it. The GTM, the kit for the GTM is $19,990, and then you can add a few things, like we've got the rear wing on the car. You can put heating and air conditioning into it. We sell these wheels from iForged here. Which those are the things you can personalize the car with. Typical GTM you might have somewhere with a C5 donor and the G50 transaxle from a Porsche. Typical GTM might be somewhere in the range of the high 40s, 45 to 50,000 to build. If you're really creative, you can do it for a little bit less, or you can spend a little bit more. This car's got an LS7 in it. It's got a cam in it. It's probably closer to 600 horsepower, which is just phenomenal acceleration and power for the car. A little more than you need, but it's a lot of fun. But then that's a more expensive build. I think on the other hand, you can do a Mark IV with a donor vehicle. You can do a build for $20,000 on a Mark IV, a base Mark IV using a Mustang as a donor car. So huge range. You can spend as little or as much as you like, but it's all about just building your own car, having the pride that goes along with that, and becoming a part of the community of people that have built a Factory 5.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Jason, for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
All right.
Enjoy the show.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.